I caught my first carp when I was 13 years old. I'm 56 now. So that means I've caught fish for 43 years non-stop. And when you ask to choose your most memorable capture over a period of time like that, it's very difficult. But if you had to pin me down, I think I would have to go for the big linear from Luke Moffat's Graviers fishery. I went on the Graviers in about 2003, I believe, and at the time there was 8 or 9 really big fish in there that Luke called the faces. I had my heart set on catching any one of those fish. Unbelievably, after 8 or 9 years, I'd caught all the big fish apart from one, the big linear. And the big linear, if truth were known, was the one that I had my heart set on when I went on there. Above where the bait freezers are at the Graviers, there was a picture board, and there was a guy on there with a big linear, and every time I went to the freezer, every time I went to the toilet, I would look at this picture of the linear and dream of catching it. But it was a fish that very rarely got caught. I studied the captures of this fish. I looked if there was any pattern. There was very little pattern at all. It tended to not come over a lot of bait. It tended to come on plastic bait. It got caught on maggots once. I racked my brains as to what I could do to stack the odds in my favour, and I came to the conclusion that the only real way to catch the linear was to get lucky. In fact, the capture of the big linear is documented in the chapter of a book that I'm currently writing, and the title of that first chapter is Attempting to Get Lucky, because I couldn't see any other way of catching it. There are certain big fish where you can plot the downfall. You can look at the history, you can look at the time of year they've been caught, you can look at what baits they've been caught on. With the linear there was no pattern at all, so I saw no way around it other than just plugging away and hoping to get lucky. Colin McNeil and I turned up on the Graviers in May of 2010 for what we thought would be just another session. Turned out to be a very good session for me in that I had 2 rods working very well, and those 2 rods produced 24 fish, a lot of 40s, couple of 50s, fantastic session. My left hand rod of the 3 produced absolutely nothing all week. I'd baited it with about 1.5 kilos of boilies every evening, and on the Thursday evening I went out in the boat with a hook bait and another 1.5 kilos of bait in the bucket, and I distinctly remember dropping the hook bait and thinking, I baited this spot every night for a week, nothing at all off it, not a pip off that particular area, so instead of putting 1.5 kilos in, I'll just put 20 or so baits in. Put 20 or so baits on the hook bait, trundled back to the bank, thought no more about it really. The night produced another couple of fish to the 2 productive rods, and then at 4 o'clock the following afternoon I had a take totally out of the blue. It hit the surface about 4 or 5 feet out, couldn't believe my eyes, big scaly fish, slipped it in the net and it was a big linear. Luke had suspected the next time it got caught it might be the first time that particular fish went 70. Didn't quite do 70, it was just under 68 pounds, but I was absolutely just, no fish has ever made me feel like that. I remember baits back out, sending a text out to all my close friends that night saying, just had the big linear, my life is complete. Now obviously, looking back, no fish will ever render your life complete, but that's how it felt at the time. It was just unbelievable feeling. A fish, I'm normally quite confident with big fish that sooner or later my time will come. I never honestly thought I would catch the linear. It just seemed not uncatchable, but it's a fish that other people caught once in a blue moon, and to catch it was just beyond my wildest dreams.